appreciation a thing or two said to him by a man of distinction, much his senior, and to which a sense akin to that of Strether's melancholy eloquence might be imputed, said as chance would have it, and so easily might in Paris, and in a charming old garden attached to a house of art, and on a Sunday afternoon of summer, many persons of great interest being present. The observation there listened to and gathered up had contained part of the note that I was to recognize on the spot as to my purpose, had contained, in fact, the greater part. The rest was in the place and the time and the scene they sketched. These constituents clustered and combined to give me further support, to give me what I may call the note absolute. There it stands, accordingly, full in the tideway, driven in with hard taps like some strong stake for the noose of a cable, the swirl of the current round about it. What amplified the hint to more than the bulk of hints in general was the gift with it of the old Paris garden, for in that token were sealed up values infinitely precious. There was, of course, the seal to break and each item of the packet to count over and handle and estimate, but somehow, in the light of the hint, all the elements of a situation of the sort most to my taste were there. I could even remember no occasion on which, so confronted, I had found it of a livelier interest to take stock in this fashion of suggested wealth. For I think verily that there are degrees of merit in subjects, in spite of the fact that to treat even one of the most ambiguous with due decency we must, for the time, for the feverish and prejudiced hour, at least figure its merit and its dignity as possibly absolute. What it comes to, doubtless, is that even among the supremely good, since with such alone is it one's theory of one's honor to be concerned, there is an ideal beauty of goodness, the invoked action of which is to raise the artistic faith to its maximum. Then truly I hold one's theme may be said to shine, and that of the ambassadors, I confess, wore this glow for me from beginning to end. Fortunately thus I am able to estimate this as, frankly, quite the best all round of all my productions. Any failure of that justification would have made such an extreme of complacency publicly fatuous. I recall, then, in this connection, no moment of subjective intermittence, never one of those alarms as for a suspected hollow beneath one's feet, a felt ingratitude in the scheme adopted, under which confidence fails and opportunity seems but to mock. If the motive of the wings of the dove, as I have noted, was to worry me at moments by a sealing up of its face, though without prejudice to its, again, of a sudden, fairly grimacing with expression, so in this other business I had absolute conviction and constant clearness to deal with. It had been a frank proposition, the whole bunch of data, installed on my premises like a monotony of fine weather. The order of composition in these things, I may mention, was reversed by the order of publication, the earlier written of the two books having appeared as the later. Even under the weight of my hero's years I could feel my postulate firm. Even under the strain of the difference between those of Madame de Vionnet and those of Chad Newsome, a difference liable to be denounced as shocking, I could still feel it serene. Nothing resisted, nothing betrayed, I seemed to make out, in this full and sound sense of the matter. It shed from any side I could turn it to the same golden glow. I rejoiced in the promise of a hero so mature, who would give me thereby the more to bite into, since it's only into thickened motive and accumulated character, I think, that the painter of life bites more than a little. My poor friend should have accumulated character, certainly, or rather would be quite naturally and handsomely possessed of it, in the sense that he would have, and would always have felt he had, imagination galore, and that this yet wouldn't have wrecked him. It was immeasurable, the opportunity to do a man of imagination, for if there mightn't be a chance to bite, where in the world might it be? This personage, of course, so enriched, wouldn't give me, for his type, imagination in predominance, or as his prime faculty.